Remember, the locker room, the best for sport in Scotland.
Well, hello, very good evening to you. Well, it's just gone 10 o'clock. You're watching Indie Live, so the Independence Live, and you're listening to on Independence Live radio for Wednesday night, and it's been a busy night of action. We've only got an hour to pack it into the show because there was two games tonight involving the Scottish clubs, and the first game finished Celtic got a decent point against Shakhtar Donetsk away, and we just saw Rangers getting beat by Napoli by 4-0. We'll get into that as well. Don't forget you can comment on the video below if you're watching this on Facebook Live or YouTube, and we'll be here until 11 o'clock as well. As I say, I'm not on my own tonight because they don't trust me on my own. I'm joined by the one only Dave Smith. Hi, Dave.
Evening, Michael. Hope we're well this fine Wednesday evening. Apologies for me staying isolated for the last minute or so, but another intriguing night of European football. I'm looking forward to dissecting it with your fine self for the next hour.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. And hopefully we'll be joined by Josh Henderson later on in the show. So we just watched Rangers getting beat by 4-0. I don't know about you, Dave. Obviously, we'll come back to this later on, but I thought it was an even contest up until half time, you would say.
3, not 4. When you look at it, I mean, Rangers were very much in the game in the first half, and Napoli, I was saying this to a few friends, that Napoli had to be resilient at certain stages in the first half because Rangers were well and truly on top, but just lacked that cutting edge in front of goal, just lacked that little bit of spark and impetus that they needed in front of goal as well. I think maybe not starting Kovac maybe had a significant part tonight, in all honesty, because Morelos was hungry. He did look vibrant in the forward areas for Rangers tonight, but we've spoken about this, Michael. I think Kovac and Morelos are two different players. Morelos is the more work rate, hungry desire when he's on it. Different story when he's off it, because we've seen that since he came to Glasgow. Kovac is a different story. He's that number 9 predator you've been looking for. I think Rangers kind of missed that to a certain degree in the first half. Yeah, they had the likes of Lundstrom and Ryan Jack, who I thought were solid enough in midfield, and Rangers did get on the front foot and did try and expose Napoli on occasion, but didn't do enough in the forward areas, I felt, and that was their Achilles heel. And 0-0 was the best thing to happen to Napoli to a degree, because Napoli stepped up again in the second half, and fine margins, Michael, fine margins, because obviously they got that penalty, which McGregor saved. And then the second penalty, which McGregor saved. And you wonder, you did wonder at that precise moment in time, is it Gabriel Rangers' night? It didn't work out that way, unfortunately. And then after that, Napoli got the penalty to make it 1-0. Sorry if I'm confusing the viewers out there. And then obviously got an extra few goals, now they're going to win the game 3-0. And in the end, handsomely from Napoli, but not without a fight.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a bit concerning if you're a Rangers fan, because what's that, about 3 games in a row and they've not scored a goal in any of the games. So that's a bit concerning if you're a Rangers fan. Let's just, we're here until 11 o'clock, so we're trying to squeeze as much in as we can, because obviously the Rangers weren't playing last night. The game was moved to tonight. Let's speak about the other game then, Dave, before we come back to the Rangers game again. The other kickoff, 6:15 tonight, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Celtic 1. Would you be a bit disappointed at the end of the game if you were Ange Postecoglou? Because I thought Celtic made a lot of attempts to win that game. And Dave was...
There we go, great start. I've not seen what Ange Postecoglou said after the game yet, because obviously I just came back from the pub non-alcoholic Coca-Cola, by the way, I might add. But I'll get Josh Henderson on this fine Wednesday evening. But shots and goal from Celtic point of view, there were 6 shots and goal, 4 off goal, 6 off goal, pardon me, and 18 goal attempts overall within the game. And that shows how disappointing Celtic were in front of goal. Shakhtar were stubborn and were very disappointing. You've got to remember here, Michael, that Shakhtar had a very, very good result last week. I mean, we were having a very good discussion in relation to Shakhtar last Tuesday after the Celtic and Rangers Madrid game. And Al Morris was making a very, very good point that Leipzig are a different kettle of fish with an old manager. He doesn't have the same pedigree as your Nagelsmann or whatever managers that have been compassed with RB Leipzig have done with that German side. So, yeah, I'm not surprised in the slightest about the result, in all honesty. But if you're Ange Postecoglou, you can be a little bit disappointed because, I mean, Celtic, this kind of makes the RB Leipzig doubleheader massive for Celtic now because I have been of the opinion that Celtic can't stay in football, European football, until beyond Christmas. But it's going to be interesting to see how they progress from here and how things can go on. But I mean, it's not the worst result, but I think Celtic's group will be based on the 2 games coming up against RB Leipzig.
Good evening, Josh. We're going to come back to the Rangers game in a minute or two. But disappointed?
Yeah, I would say disappointed. After watching the first half, I mean, we'll talk about it in more detail, but I would say, yeah, disappointed, but I think that the writing was on the wall once James Sands was sent off. So, yeah, I mean, in the Champions League, you know, at 0-0, you're not at 0-0 at half time. You're not going to, I mean, 0-0 at 55, I think it was 55, 60 minutes. It was about the penalty was. You're not going to get much better chances than that to take at least a point from a team like Napoli. So, yeah, disappointing, I would say.
If you just joined us, the final scores in the Champions League was Group F tonight. We had Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Celtic 1, and Rangers 0, Napoli 4 in the Champions League match day 2. If you want to comment on the videos below, you can do that. We're on Facebook and YouTube as well. And please comment below as well. I know that Graham Duffy is on tonight, but he's never far away, that boy, so he is. He has commented about James Sands. We'll come back to that in a wee bit in the game. In the show, we're here until 11 o'clock tonight. So I was quite surprised at Celtic at the beginning tonight, Dave. They come out the claps flying. They run Shakhtar's faces, but second half they kind of went off a wee bit, but it was one of these kind of games because obviously before half time Shakhtar came into the game, and I think half time came at a good time for Celtic tonight.
Yeah, but it was similar to the Rangers Napoli game, just in the sense half time came at the right time in that game tonight for Napoli, because Rangers were the better side in the first half, I felt. It was exactly the same in Ukraine, Poland, tonight, because obviously, when you look at the performance, was excellent from Celtic. I mean, possession-wise, very, very good, but it's all a bit disappointing not to pick up all 3 points. And I've got your exclusive Ange Postecoglou quote. Postecoglou said, "The performance was excellent. It's always difficult at this level to dominate games, but I thought we started the game really well, got our goal, and then obviously they got their goal. I thought we regrouped really well after that second half. The performance was excellent, but obviously the result was not reflective of that."
So, Josh, did you see any of the game before you went to see the Rangers game tonight?
No, actually, I didn't. I just followed that a bit, listening to the sports sound coverage. By all accounts, it seems that Celtic, made a very good account of themselves. I'm not surprised that they faded off a little bit in the second half. It's a bit kind of characteristic of Ange Postecoglou's Celtic. They do come absolutely flying out of the traps really early, and then tend to fade in games. In my view, anyway. I mean, you've seen it with the 4-0 against Rangers the other week. They came flying out the traps, went 3-0 up, and then the second half was, well, Rangers were useless. Celtic were a bit more muted in that second half, albeit they made it 4-0 towards the end. So yeah, not surprised. Good, a good result for them, particularly. An away result for them. It's not a home game for Shakhtar. Let's be clear about that. Shakhtar are not playing at home. They haven't played at home in years now. So yeah, be interesting to see how Celtic shape up in the group, because I mean, if they can get that good a result away at a team the size of Shakhtar Donetsk, then well, what can they do against Leipzig and Shakhtar when they've got them at home? So it'll be interesting to see how they do over the piece. They are, and I say this with a touch of regret and a touch of sadness, but they are in a good place to finish third now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And obviously, I think we'll come back to Graham's points. He's itching to ask yours a question, but and I think what I would say, if we've got time on in the show tonight, we'll speak about the kind of like differences between Celtic and Rangers at the moment, and because you saw it against Real Madrid, even though Celtic get well beat last week, but they held Real Madrid for about 50 minutes and all that, But as I say, we'll come back to that later on in the show. We'll get to the penalty incidents very soon. I've never thought about 3 penalties in the game and 2 saves by McGregor. I wonder if John McLaughlin was in goals. I wonder if he would have saved them. I'm a big John McLaughlin fan, as you know, Josh, because the other week I was saying that he kind of helped Rangers get to where they are at the moment in the Champions League. But obviously that might be forgotten about tonight because McGregor made 2 wonderful saves from the penalty kicks. Let's go back to the first half. It feels like let's go back to the first half in the Celtic game. As I say, Celtic came out all guns blazing. Shaki Ganesh came into the game towards the end of the first half, Dave. And obviously, we don't speak about man of the match after the show because I felt as though that Celtic had a few men on the park tonight was men of the match, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, Celtic in the domestic level have been renowned for being on the front foot, having a good press about them, exposing teams whenever they possibly can. I mean, your Kilmarnocks, your Dundee United, your other teams in the Scottish Premiership have been on the wrong side of that. Kilmarnock got 5 against them, Dundee United got 9 against them. And that just goes to show you how pivotal and how clinical Celtic can be. Now, it's a different kettle of fish altogether at European level. At European level, as Ange Postecoglou kind of touched upon, you need to have a different mentality about your game. You need to have a different approach to your game. And that's maybe what's happened Celtic a little bit, because when you look at it from a Celtic point of view, Celtic haven't had, especially under Ange Postecoglou, they've not had much of a knowledge in terms of European football. We obviously had last season in terms of that, but I think Ange Postecoglou will be the first one to admit that went disastrously poor, and it's up to Celtic to go and improve on that. Obviously, did a great domestic campaign, and that's helped them get to this stage where they didn't have to rely on playoff rounds such as what Rangers did. But they're in European football for a reason, And I think last week and tonight has been a good to see where they're at in terms of the European pedigree against both those teams. Sorry, Real Madrid, obviously the European champions. They were always going to be formidable, and they went to East End and Glasgow, did exactly that. Shakhtar was going to be a different test and a different calibre game altogether tonight, and you can say they passed that, but there's obviously that disappointment as well, not getting all 3 points. So I think if you were to put an assessment right now on where Celtic are at, I would say currently a C if you were to grade them, right? But if they beat Leipzig, you could arguably say B minus.
Celtic were looking for the first Champions League win in 5 years tonight, Dave. And as I say, we'll come on to speak about Rangers in a wee bit as well. But Rangers had a lot of chances in the first half. Celtic had similar millions of chances to win that game, but just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, they've left all the luck at Kilmarnock and Turners respectively because they hit there for 14 respectively without reply. So there you go. They've hit the luck's gone out by the middle of September. The lights gone out and the goals have gone out for Celtic. No, I'm joking. No, it's one of those nights. You'll have one of those nights sometimes that sometimes it doesn't go and work for you. I mean, that'd be a domestic game against either the Hearts or the Hibs, just to give you an example, or Aberdeen even. I think that would have been a 3-4 Celtic, no win for Celtic tonight. But because it's European level, there's a different acclimatation about it, there's a different pressure about it, there's a different expectation about it, there's a different approach to it, there's a whole different philosophy attached to European football. And that probably felt for Celtic tonight, but at the same time as well, that shouldn't be an excuse for Ange Postecoglou's side, because as you alluded to, they had chances, and the fact of not taking these chances is it a concern or is it a worry either? But you look at it and say, how can we rectify that? Both in terms of domestic level and in terms of European level, in particular on a European level, because Celtic need to go and get some wins as soon as possible, or else the last resort will indeed be UEFA League. I wasn't sure about the Conference League, but definitely be UEFA Europa League after Christmas. I wasn't sure what the conference. I just remember the Conference League is only for Europa League. So the worst case scenario is the Europa League. But if you ask any Celtic fan right now, they want Champions League football after Christmas.
One man who takes stick every week, and you see it in social media, Dave, is Greg Taylor. Now, I thought he had one of his better games tonight.
I love you've said that, Michael, because I've been the first one that's been on group chats in the last 24 to 48 hours saying that he should be in the Scotland team in Andy Robertson's position, primarily before everybody tries to slap me in the face, primarily because of the way he plays his game, the way he bombs on forward, the way he'll get up the pitch, but also the way he'll do his defensive work as well. I've been telling a lot of people that. But at the same time as well, he's a player that goes under the radar in a Celtic shirt. He's a player that, because of his specific position, and because Ralston has a much more of a pivotal figure whenever he's in action for Celtic, Greg Taylor's one of those players that will go under the radar. He's been one of Celtic's most improved players under Ange Postecoglou, as Graham Duffy has went and touched on in the comments section there. And the fact that he doesn't get as much recognition is probably because of his position, because you look at midfield, Matt O'Reilly has been brilliant since arriving at Celtic. You've got the forward areas, you've got Kyogo, Daisen Maeda, Jota. You've got three class players there that will get a lot of praise in aspect of Greg Taylor. You've got Joe Hart, who's been absolutely brilliant. But then from a Joe Hart point of view, he's hardly been spoken about because Celtic have been not resolute and diligent defensively lately. You've also got the defensive aspect as well, Michael, that don't get a lot of recognition because they've been so good defensively. And everybody speaks about the forward areas, and the defensive aspect is a foregone conclusion and a last aspect or a last resort when it comes to speaking or giving an independent view on the games.
I was just going to say to you, Dave, there when you were speaking about Joe Hart, I can't remember him pulling off a save tonight, apart from picking the ball at the back of the net.
He's done that in domestic and Champions League level. I mean, last Tuesday against Real Madrid is arguably the last time he's been tested at a reasonable, at a fast-paced level or a fast intensity in a very, very long time. And for me, that's extremely worrying. Not from a Joe Hart point of view or a Celtic point of view. It's worrying from a Scottish football point of view first and foremost, and from Josh Henderson's sake, it's a worrying one from a Rangers point of view, considering. 11 days ago, Joe Hart could easily have had a cigar in the Celtic goal. He was that isolated in the Celtic goal. And the fact that he's hardly had a lot of hard work, he's had a lack of hard work to do, in the last recent wee while, is a bit of a worry for the rest of Scottish football that they're not challenging Celtic enough. I mean, Celtic are being, they have a lot of momentum. They have a good mentality, but at the same time, my big question on a domestic level and a European level is: are the teams challenging Celtic enough?
What does it say, Josh, about a Scottish team going away to a big Champions League game and dominating the possession? I mean, I'm just looking at the possession here. The Celtic had 56 possession to Shakhtar's 44, shots 16 to Shakhtar's 5. I mean, that's brilliant to see, like, away from home.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on paper, on paper and in person, but on paper, those stats are particularly impressive for Celtic. But I suppose this is what Ange Postecoglou's Celtic do. They go out and they go pedal to the metal. They go heavy metal, full throttle, until they drop. I did feel that when Ange Postecoglou took that to the Champions League, that Celtic would be found out because they're coming up against far superior opposition. And so far, I mean, they did against Real Madrid, but it's Real Madrid. But so far, it's hard to say that they have been found out, because they've made a very good account of themselves tonight. 1-1 draw against Shakhtar Donetsk is very impressive, and I did, I have caught wee bits and bobs of it on social media, and by all accounts, Celtic probably should have won the game. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, but as a Rangers fan purely, but yeah, really, really impressive, and I do think something is going to give with them at some point. I do feel that. It'll be very interesting to see how they do when they come up against Leipzig, who are a bit resurgent now. So I think it's going to be one of those watch this space, because teams in Europe are going to be sussing Celtic now. I don't mean sussing as in finding them out. What I mean is they are going to be assessing Celtic. They are going to be looking at them and thinking, right, this is how they play. This is how we need to play against Celtic. This is what we need to do. And that's what top teams do. They assess, they prepare, and they go in with a game plan. And when you have a game plan in combination with far superior players, it tends to be that team that comes out on top. So let's not beat around the bush and deny reality. On paper, Shakhtar Donetsk, Leipzig, and Real Madrid should all be beating Celtic. So it'll be interesting to see how Leipzig do. Is Leipzig they've got next week, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 weeks time. Next week, Scotland.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Sorry,
the
next Champions League fixture. I mean, yeah. So they'll have the double. It'll be a double header against Leipzig, won't it? I'd imagine.
Yeah. Home,
Yeah.
the away first and then home. And again, it's a bit weird because in a few weeks' time, Rangers are away as well. So there's no teams playing in Scotland that night or that week because Rangers is away to Liverpool.
Yeah, but I'm just going to elaborate on Josh's point, and I do agree with Josh. I mean, Celtic in Scotland or Celtic in domestic football is a totally different dynamic to Celtic in European football because teams in Scotland hardly challenge Celtic.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't think you would.
They're set up far differently. The teams in Scotland are set up far differently when they play Celtic to what Real Madrid was set up against Celtic, what Shakhtar Donetsk was set up against Celtic.
I'm just going to say thanks to the one person that's watching us tonight, Graham Duffy. He's commented about 10 times already. So, yeah, I know that you're missing us, Graham, but you will be back soon. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I will be back. But we'll be back tomorrow night as well. But we're not off yet. We're on until 11 o'clock with the Champions League review show looking at Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League. Don't forget, if you want to comment on anything that Josh or David or myself, well, don't comment on myself because I don't make any decent comments according to Dave. You can do so on Facebook and YouTube. Look, he's frightened to laugh there. Good man. Yeah, good man. So we were talking about Celtic not taking their chances tonight. Let's speak about Rangers because they never took their chances in the first half. I was right a kind of open game, end-to-end game in the first half. As I say, just to remind you, Shakhtar Donetsk won, Celtic won. That was an early game, that 8 o'clock game. Just finished at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Napoli 4, with about 10 penalties in that game. So I've done it again. 3. There you go. I've done it again. It's been a long night. It's going to be a long week. Josh, what was your obviously we'll get to the penalty incidents in a wee bit in the second half. But what was your take on the first half performance from Rangers? Because I thought it was a quite end-to-end kind of game.
Yeah, I thought that the first half performance was pretty impressive from Rangers. To go in 0-0 against a team like Napoli, I mean, Napoli are one of the best teams in Italy. They are a seriously good outfit. Personally, and I'm not just saying this, but I think they are better than Shakhtar Donetsk and Leipzig. We have got, by far and away the tougher of the two groups. Having said that, I thought Rangers gave a very good account of themselves in the first half. It was, as you said, it was the end. There were chances. Rangers did have chances through Morelos. Now, there'll be a lot of talking points about Rangers, particularly the night. Morelos, I thought, looked pretty good. The booking early on was stupid of him because he then plays 70 minutes on a booking and he can't play on the edge like he does to when he's on a booking. So that was very disappointing on his part, and it was a stupid booking to give away. So no doubt Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will be annoyed at that, but look, I thought he was very good in the first half. And it's hard to, because I think Cholak offers a lot, but it really is quite hard to pinpoint exactly what Morelos does. The only does better, I should say, the only way that I could describe it is that he's a nuisance. He is such a nuisance against opposition centre-backs and opposition players, and he just gets you up the pitch, and he just gets you into those danger areas all the time. So, he was good, I would say. I thought, to be honest, most of the team was pretty good up till the kind of 50th, 55th minute. I'm forgetting when exactly the penalty happened. I think it was about 60 minutes, 55, wasn't it? I think it was about 55 that Sands was sent off. So, I mean, we'll come to the penalty incidents individually. But when Sands did go off, I think that was the writing on the wall. I just felt that the second that Sands was sent off, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was forced into making the substitution of taking off Ryan Jack and bringing on Leon King to shore up the defence. But in doing that, it meant that Napoli were just able to play through the midfield. And they did that time and time and time again. It was just all night. I mean, I've got to say, the boy, the boy, no, hold on, give me this for a sec. Kvici Kuratskila, right? I think that's his name. The Georgian boy. I've got to say, very impressed with him. He is going to be some player. He was extreme. I mean, tall, powerful on the ball. Rangers players were bouncing off him when he was running with the ball.
He was brilliant last week against Liverpool as well.
Yeah, very, very impressive, Dave. So yeah, Napoli were very good, and I just thought in that second half, after the penalty incident, I should say, I think Napoli really took the game to Rangers and started playing through the midfield. They made loads of completely midfield cutting passes that took the ball into that final third. And then when they're in that final third, Rangers, the transitions are so quick that Rangers are all over the place. And I've got to say, I don't think Conor Goldson covered himself in too much. What's the phrase? I mean, I don't think he.
I think he got found out.
I've to be honest, Michael, and this is the thing, and I'm probably going off for a tangent here, but the reason, personally, I think the reason that Conor Goldson signed up for another 4 years with Rangers is because he recognises that he's got a chance to play Champions League with Rangers, and he's not going to get much better than Rangers. If Conor Goldson was he is a top centre back. He is, in my opinion, he is the best centre back in Scotland, right? People will argue whether it's him or Carter or Vickers, but in my view, he is the best centre back in Scotland. But that is in Scotland, and if he was that good, if he was, such a world-class top player, he wouldn't be playing at Rangers. He would be away, and he would have moved on in the summer. But the fact is, the interest for him just wasn't there. And the same can be said for a number of players in that Rangers team, Kent particularly, Glenn Kamara as well. So yeah, a few poor performances. Glenn Kamara came off the bench tonight. He was terrible. So yeah, thoroughly disappointing after the penalty episodes. But that's what happens when you go down to 10 men with 35 minutes against a team like Napoli that move the ball so fast and have got such quality. You just get absolutely mangled.
Am I right in saying Rangers' only decent shot on goal tonight, Dave, was at the beginning of the game? I think it was after about 5-6 minutes by Arfield. A brilliant save by the keeper, you would have to say as well, but a decent shot at goal.
Yeah, that was a good effort. There was not another one midway through the first half, Josh.
Yeah, there was. And look, I mean, I think the shots. I think we can always get bogged down a wee bit in terms of looking at shots on target as a barometer. I think that Rangers had a lot of chances where, all that was missing was that final shot on goal, and it was potentially going in. They had a lot of really impressive passages of play, particularly in the first half and early into the second half, in terms of their attacking play. So yeah, but to my recollection, the Napoli keeper, whose name escapes me right now, didn't have a lot to do in terms of actual saves to make.
I think we'll come back to this later on in the show, Josh, when you were saying about Leon King coming on, and I think I don't want to get bogged down in this kind of argument as well, but it really goes back to Graham's point early on. I think like that's the difference at the moment between Celtic. If you look at their bench and Rangers bench as well. But no, I just wanted to come back to tonight's game as well. Second half was a bit of the same, kind of end to end. And then it all changed with that penalty incident when Sands gets sent off, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said at the start to you, Michael, I mean, Rangers started the game reasonably well, of course, and then that sending off seemed to change it. But then, as I said at the beginning of the show, when McGregor saves not one but two penalties because of the VAR controversy, you do get that feeling. Could it be for Rangers?
Yeah,
Could it be?
I've got to say, Dave, sorry for cutting in. I've got to say,
Sorry.
see when those two pens were saved, I did feel like that. I felt this could be our night here. And wow, by the way, what a moment to save a pen, for his defenders, who, by the way, it was Tavernier and Goldson again, weren't quick enough off the line. Fair enough, it was a full pen, but they weren't quick enough off the line. To save a pen and then go up again and save it again. It was just phenomenal.
See when Rangers did so well in Europe last season, I'll make that an interesting point about this. Whenever they played Dortmund, whenever they played Braga, whenever they played Leipzig, they always had to have a feeling of showing a little bit of resilience before getting the job done, either over there or the day at Ibrox. And you had that feeling tonight when McGregor saved both those penalties. And then the curtains opened, unfortunately, when Napoli got that opener, and it was a well taken penalty, all they say. But I must say, despite the fact that it was two good saves by McGregor, I will analyse and balance it as well by saying I don't think it was two good penalties. I thought it was goalkeeper height type of penalties, where it's not going corner, it's going probably.
But I think, and I know what Josh is going to say here, and that sorry, cutting Dave, but were you ready to say, Josh? It doesn't matter if it was a brilliant penalty, a poor penalty. His job is to save a penalty, and that's what he did.
Yeah, but the thing is, Al McGregor's always had a really good record at saving penalties. He, particularly among Scottish goalkeeping folklore, he is fairly well known for being able to pull off those big moments. It's a fucking it's a shame he wasn't able to do it in the Europa League final. But them's the breaks. But he managed it tonight. The thing is, law averages. If you've got 3 penalties and he saves 2 of them, and by the way, he wasn't far away from saving the third one. He got a hand to it and it just slipped under him, and just a wee bit quicker, and he could have been, he could have saved it again. So, but the thing is, you can't rely on Al McGregor for everything. It's a terrible, terrible foul to give away. It's as clear a pen as you're ever going to see. Barisic's handball. So very disappointed that we gave away that pen, and it was almost, after that, as if it was just, capitulation. Just kind of letting them play through. The one stat that rubbed off on me again tonight, and it was the same against Ajax last week, was that Napoli ran about 5 or 6 kilometres more than Rangers tonight. Now it's a home game, fair enough, but you're talking about Naples had nearly 60% of possession.
Sorry, Josh, was that something Johnny McFarlane raised last Saturday after the Old Firm game?
might have been, mate. But I mean, the point I'm trying to make, see, at the end of the day, football's not a difficult game, right? It's made complicated by all these kind of analysts and that. But when you look at that, Naples run 6 or 7 kilometres more than Rangers tonight in that game. It was a home game for Rangers. We should have been, like Celtic, pedal to the metal every single second of the game, running, fighting for everything. And in that first half, I thought they were really good, but in the second half, when they went down to 10 men, you need your players to be running even more, and they didn't. So, disappointing.
We were having this.
Sorry, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just answer Graham's question?
Yeah.
Can I just answer Graham's question? It was Carmi Bell for Dundee United that said 3 Dunfermline 1 penalties.
Now, we were having the kind of debate on the show on Friday, Josh, right? And we were saying about, do you think it's about time McLaughlin gets scrapped and stuff like that? And I was making a point about, obviously he was injured and they can't play tonight, right? But but I was making the point that you can't really drop the goalkeeper maybe not halfway through the season, but maybe like a quarter way through the season. But I think Alan McGregor has came back to haunt me a wee bit tonight, because do you think it's John McLaughlin that's chasing McGregor for the number 1 spot now after saves tonight?
Well, it's hard. It's hard to say, Michael. So early on, when particularly in the first half when Rangers were playing, Rangers under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst like to play it out from the back. And there were numerous times in the first half where Sands and Goldson are going between each other, and then they're put under pressure from the Napoli press, and they turn to go back to the keeper, and you can tell with the body language that they don't want to do it because it's McGregor. And what's he going to do? He's going to balloon it right up the pitch. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do, right? That's just, it's, every keeper's different, right? But in my view, John McLaughlin takes a touch there, right? And that is the way that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst wants to play. McLaughlin is more comfortable with the ball at his feet. He is better at playing it out from the back. It's hard to say. It's hard to. I'm not going to. Al McGregor saved two out of 3 penalties tonight, so I'm not going to exactly, say that he's not as good as John McLaughlin. But for what I think is that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst wants McLaughlin more than McGregor in his team, because he is more suited to the system that Rangers want to play. And it's that kind of, because no matter what game they're in the Scottish Premiership, unless it's Celtic or maybe a Hearts or an Aberdeen, Rangers are going to absolutely dominate possession. So he doesn't want an Alan McGregor in there who is very good at it's a bit ironic kind of turn of phrase, but he's a very good penalty box goalkeeper. Whereas McLaughlin is the type of goalkeeper that sees the whole pitch in front of him. So I think that McLaughlin will come back in, to be honest. But I wouldn't be against having Al McGregor playing in the Champions League games, because in those games you need somebody who's out of the 2 goalkeepers. I think Al McGregor is undoubtedly the better of the 2 at keeping the ball out of the net.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Shout out to Frank Brennan. First time, I'm presuming, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, first time probably on the Locker Room Indie. Great to see you, Frank, because I know you're a regular on the Celtic State of Mind, or indeed you were a regular when me and Michael in particular were on the State of Scottish Football. So great to see you on, my friend.
Yeah, no, thanks for commenting on Facebook. Sorry, he's watching on YouTube actually, so keep your comments coming in. We're on Facebook and YouTube till 11 o'clock. And just while people's watching, just to remind you, we're on tomorrow night with Hearts. Mr. Duffy will be back tomorrow night as well, because he supports Hearts. I don't know if you know that, Josh, but Graham's a big Hearts fan.
Is he?
Yeah, it's very surprising, isn't it? Friday night as well, and Sunday, and believe it or not, no ref for the wiki, George. We're here next week for the Scotland games as well, and I'm sure you'll be going to one or two of the Scotland games that coming up, and then
I'll be at all the Scotland games, mate. Never miss them.
yeah, and then we'll be back to the domestic football and the Champions League. Right,
Michael.
George. Yeah.
I've got Van Bronckhorst quote
yeah.
for you. He
Yeah,
said,
here's Van Bronckhorst.
I said, I think the performance was really good. The result wasn't good. I don't think we deserved a 3-0 loss today. If you see how the game goes and how my players reacted after last week, I think we were well in the game from the first minute. The 3-0 doesn't reflect the game we had. When you play with 10 men, it is always going to be really difficult, especially when 1-0 down. We needed to score and take some risks, but very disappointed because at 11 against 11, we gave Napoli a tough game and we're well in it. On the sand sending off, which we'll get onto later on the show, he added, I haven't seen Cleveland back, but now they check everything. We have to rely on VAR. Interestingly enough, Van Bronckhorst says, it was a moment in the game we didn't react well with, the transition moment. We had to step in and make sure we didn't give the chance away. In the end, it cost a penalty and the red card.
There you go. That was Van Bronckhorst quotes, and the first person I'll say is, Josh, what do you think of your manager's comments?
Yeah, I'd go ahead with most of that, to be honest. I thought that 3-0 really didn't reflect the passages of play. I think 3-0 probably reflected it after we went down to 10 men, but, as I've said multiple times now, for the first 55 minutes, I thought we made a really good account of ourselves and gave Napoli a right good game. Like Van Bronckhorst says, when we went down to 10 men, it was very difficult. The penalty, we've not really touched on the penalty incident. I should say penalty incidents. So the first penalty, I think Sands is very unlucky. Sands is a great player. He has been probably Rangers' most impressive defender this season. I think he's been very good this season. He's positionally a very impressive player. I just think he needs a bit more. He's still developing. He is only 22, but I think we've got a top player in our hands there. I think he's unlucky. He makes a last gasp tackle. The ball. I don't think he misses the ball. I think the ball misses him, because the Napoli player, who I can't remember, almost skips it to his right, and to try and get away from Sands, and Sands' legs just catch him before he catches the ball. It is a penalty. Soft-ish, but it is a penalty. Certainly is a pen. So no complaints with that one.
It's a penalty. It's a penalty. No card in my eyes.
Yeah, I would probably say. I would agree with that, Dave. Actually, penalty, no card. Which, look with hindsight now, if we'd stayed at 11 men, would the second penalty, have been conceded? Would we have won 3-0? These are all buts and maybes. You don't know in football, but it certainly could have been a different game had Sands been able to stay in the pitch. But the thing is, Rangers gave away umpteen bookings in that game, so the discipline was poor throughout the game. And to be honest, I think a lot of it was because we were chasing shadows at times, particularly when we went down to 10 men. The second pen, you're never going to see a more blatant pen. Don't know what Borner's doing there. He's got his hand up. I don't know if he thinks he's.
That's the motor mic in my background. Sorry.
Excuse you, Dave.
That's what he says, Josh.
Exactly. No, so the second pen is. I think Bournemouth's trying to play basketball there. So, disappointing with the penalties, but I wouldn't go against what Van Bronckhorst says. I just hope we need a game to come quick. We need a game quickly. Before the international breakup, because we need to get out, and these players need a win. These players need the chance to go out and get a win, because as Frank Brennan saying there in the comments, 4-0, 4-0, 3-0, all in a row. It's not a great look.
How can Van Bronckhorst lift the team for Saturday against Dundee United at home?
I think he'll lift them. I don't think they'll have any bother lifting themselves back up. Right, the Champions League. The thing is, when we got into the Champions League, I was the first to say that I was expecting that we were going to take a few hidings. That group is a group of death. Let's be honest. Come on now. It's I mean, on any day, Liverpool, Ajax, and Napoli. It's a tough, I think the Ajax home game is the one that I'm pinpointing for. I think Liverpool actually takes care of itself, to be honest. I think we've got, anything could happen with the Liverpool game. But, if you're looking at it on paper, I think Ajax is probably the one that you're pinpointing to try and get at least a point out of. I just don't want to finish on 0 points, So we'll see how we go on over the next few weeks. Who knows? I mean, who knows? The international breakup might actually do some good. We've not got a lot of, we've only got a certain amount of players who are actually international footballers now.
And it must concern you as well that obviously Frank said 4-0, 4-0, 3-0 and no goals as well, Josh. I mean, you have been playing well, but you can play well all day, but but the name of the game is to put the ball in the back of the net, and Rangers has not been doing that the last few weeks.
Yeah, but context is important, isn't it? I mean, it's one's away at Ajax, one's away at Celtic Park where we get battered, and that's happened over the years, right? That happens in the Old Firm. And then the 3-0 is at Napoli the night when we're down to 10 men for this basically nearly the full second half. So, I mean, I'm not, the fact that we've no scored any goals in those fixtures, I'm not particularly concerned about. I must say though, I thought Morelos was looking leaner, he was looking sharper the night. I mean, the Celtic fans will slate me for this, but when he's fit and firing, I almost said Lee Griffiths there because that's what people say. But when he's fit and firing, by the way, Alfredo Morelos is the best striker in Scotland by a distance. And I include Kyogo, I include Giacomakis, I include every striker. I think when he's on form, Morelos is the best striker in Scotland by a distance.
He showed that under Gerrard to not large proximities, but to a certain degree, Josh, where whenever he was on a golden period or whenever he did enjoy good periods, he was instrumental in success to go under Gerrard.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's what makes a fantastic striker. I mean, you look at strikers that have came and gone in the SPL over the number of years. Well, I mean, the likes of Liam Boyce scored, was it like 30 goals one season? Michael Higdon scored hundreds of goals one season. Chris Boyd was an absolute goal scorer. You can score hundreds of goals in a league, but I think when he's on form, Morelos gives you so much more in a game than just goals. It is just, I mean, players, and it's testament, right? I mean, this is the biggest recommendation you can get in my view, that nearly every player that you've ever heard interviewed that has played against Alfredo Morelos hates playing against him. Every centre back, that is. They hate playing against him because he is so difficult to play against. He's so strong. He's such, he's just a bull. So for that reason, I mean, you've seen it in Rangers play tonight, how much Morelos was given to the team. It's just stupid of him. Again, it's part of his character. He just gives away that stupid booking 20 minutes into the game, and he's got to play the rest of the game on tenterhooks in case he gets sent off, as it happened. It was one of his teammates that gets sent off.
Yeah, Connor Goldson came out in BT Sport, Michael, and understandably so, Rangers fans have vented their fury at the club's dismal run of form over the last couple of weeks and asked If he had been hurt by the criticism, Wilson told BT Sport 100% that's what's going to take when you play for a big club. You don't expect to lose 2 games in a row in the manner that we did. We all had to look at ourselves in the mirror. There's been some tough conversations that have been had in the training ground. I thought all the boys came out tonight and gave it everything we had.
Michael Burns commented on Facebook. Thanks for your comment, Michael. Thanks for watching as well. He said, who is the best striker in Scotland? Well, I think Josh maybe answered that question about 5 seconds ago. George, I wanted to pick you up on the point that you made about Morelos. Obviously, he was taken off, what was it, 20 minutes to go. Do you think that was a good decision by Gio? Because you're always thinking, well, he's on a yellow card. It might be a kind of like ticking time bomb with Morelos.
Yeah. The reason he got taken off is because they should have been sent off 30 seconds before that.
Yeah.
You seen that with it? I think it was like it was a bit of a kind of tug of the jersey. That was a booking. He's already on a yellow card. He should have been sent off. So I'm not surprised that Van Bronckhorst. Bear in mind that Morelos has been out for weeks and all. I'm not surprised that Van Bronckhorst immediately looked at Cholak and says, "Right, get stripped your own."
Yeah, no, exactly. And obviously, I'll come back to the penalty incident. Very soft penalty, Sands, and Sands Gignan deserves to be sent off for that. I didn't see where the penalty was in that one, to be honest with you. Second one, yeah, I think it was. I think it was trying to get into the Glasgow Rocks basketball team. That was a set penalty as well. So, how would you? Obviously, we've got about 4 minutes left. How would you sum up the performance of Rangers tonight, Josh? It's okay.
It's hard to say, mate. I mean, good. I would say improved. I think that that trio of 4-0, 4-0, 3-0 looks bad on paper, but the 3-0, the performance was completely different to the two 4-0s. The performance tonight was the scoreline tonight was completely not unreflective of the performance, generally speaking, prior to the sending off. As I say again, to my recollection, I think Napoli are top of Serie A. Serie A, in my view, is the best league in the world. So, I'm not, if you go down to 10 men against Napoli, then what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Interesting, just what we touched on that was pretty cool to see. Is it Giacomo Simeone or is it Giovanni Simeone? Giacomo Simeone, Diego's boy.
I think it's the first one.
Yep, Diego's boy. That was an interesting thing. We'll see how he does this season for Napoli.
Who's the better striker, do you think, just now, Josh? Is it Morelos or Kovac? Not just now, Ahmed, just in general, right? Who's better, do you think?
In general, Morelos, definitely. Not right now. I mean, Cholak is in better shape. Different type of striker, a bit more unselfish than Morelos. But, I mean, and brings different aspects to his game. But two of them at their absolute peak, Morelos, and it's not even close.
So that was the score Ibrox tonight. One it's with Celtic, Dave, from a Celtic, from a Scottish point of view, Scottish football point of view, decent point away from home fairly quickly.
You could say that, but at the same time, massive disappointment not getting all 3 points. So a lot of lessons to be learned, I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. Mixed night for the Scottish clubs. Decent point for Celtic away from home. They would be kicking themselves. But at the same token, Rangers took a point, maybe won the game at Ibrox. A lot of chances. But again, okay, thanks guys for joining me on the show tonight. Josh and Dave, we'll do it all again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Between 10 and 11, we're on for the Hearts game, and we'll be on Friday night with our Euro preview show where we look at the Davis Cup, because I think Great Britain was playing against USA today as well in the tennis. And we'll be here on Sunday as well to look back at the weekend's games. So thanks for watching tonight. Thanks to your comments. Thanks to Dave and thanks to Josh. And we'll see you soon.
It's Champions League time once again, and you can catch up with what's been happening in the games by tuning in to the Locker Room Specials on Indie Live Radio and Independence Live. Remember, the Locker Room, the best for sport in Scotland.